RevTouch board, and I'm going to show you just one of the pieces of software available to you at www.revtouch.com. Go to that site and check it out. We're going to focus mainly on the tools in this video. There are other videos for other parts of the program, so let's get started. The tools are found down here in the wrench and the hammer. And then you'll notice all these wonderful tools. If you don't see them, make sure you're in the toolbox. And let's get started and find out what we can do. I want to change the page, and it's over there. I don't want to cross in front of you. So I can move that menu with the little gray caret sign and navigate and quickly get back to my menu. They switch back and forth. So here we have some words. Maybe I want to focus the students on particular ones, and we have two tools that are handy for this. One is a magnifier, and one is the spotlight. So we're going to use both of those in this activity. So looking at the menu and the toolbox, we're going to first look at the magnifier, and as I move it around, you can see the words are larger, and I don't have to touch that shape. I can be anywhere on the board. It's actually moving a top layer. So let's see what we can do with the configuration tool. We can make the words smaller and bigger. A little bit too big for that application. All right, so that is the magnifier, and I can turn it off with the X. And let's put the spotlight on now. And spotlight looks like a flashlight, and look at the difference. Now we can't see the background, so that really focuses everyone in on that one thing that we're working on. You can make it a square, resize it, a circle, and when we go to the configuration tool, we're no longer changing the size of the words. We're actually revealing more of the background. That's called alpha. And we can move it around just the same. Let's close that. So that's one of our tools. Let's look at another one. Masking. You use masking when you want to hide something. So for instance, I might have a page ready for students when they come into the room, but I don't want them to see it yet. So therefore we would use a mask. I'm going to show you this in two ways. One with some words, one with a PDF that I actually imported into the Note 3, and we'll look at that next. All right, so let's turn on mask, which looks like a curtain, and we can bring down this a little bit at a time to reveal some at a time, or we can go over here to the toolbar and select the square with the marquee around it. Just draw around whatever you want to mask, and that will be masked. You can also make a custom mask using the configuration tool here. I can bring in a picture perhaps that I've saved. And that masks wherever the mask was before, but now it's a picture. So if I wanted to move it, I go to the little square with the marquee around it and put it wherever I want. Or I can even make it bigger. Like that. Isn't that fun? All right, so we're going to close that using the X at the side and move on. We're going to now look at the browser, and you might think, why would I open a browser inside Note? Well, let's look at that. Tools, Toolbox, and Browser. No thanks here. You're opening this within Note because then you get these special tools at the bottom. Let's make this as big as it can be. And what we have are a select tool, a pencil, eraser, a snipping tool, and a keyboard. So, for instance, I might want to choose a color and write on here, or erase something I've drawn, or if we're making notes, Google is search engine, and I want to save my notes, I use the snipping tool here. I just grab whatever I want. And when I like what I selected, go to the check mark, and it automatically puts it into Note, which I'll show you in a minute. I can erase this. And I can get a keyboard if I want to do some typing here. I want to search for whatever. There we go. So that's a browser. I can close it by clicking on the X. I'll have to get in front of it more. There we go. All right, here's the note I made. Let's go back. I don't want that. You notice that I can't erase this, and that's because it's an image. It's not really writing. Let's go back here to the Select tool, and I can move that around. So that's the snipping tool that I used within the browser within Note 3. All right, let's see what else we are going to do here. There is a clock, a calendar, and a timer. So you probably have a clock in your classroom, but if it's not at the right time, you might want to pull that up. Tools, clock. It will reflect the time that's on your computer, and you can move it anywhere you like. I move it here, but this is technically the moving area. It's not a tool that you can use to show students how to tell time. It merely will have a time showing on your screen. And it will stay on the screen even though I change pages. Another one is the calendar. So I'll go to the tools and the calendar. And you'll see one page. So for instance, if I want to go to the whole calendar, make it bigger, I can. Bigger and smaller. Or go back to any page that I want. And big, and then close it. Timer. Here it is here. Now, how do I change how many seconds we're going to have? I go to the configuration tool and add 10 seconds. Or I can provide a link so when the timer goes off, it'll link to either a file or a website. Close the configuration tool and count down. And when it gets down to 0, we're going to hear a bell. It's warning us that time's almost up at 5 seconds. That's it, time's up. So we're going to close that. And watch as I change pages. That clock is going to remain there. And it's on the new page. So in order to get rid of it, we're going to click on the X. And next we're going to look at the thinking axis. And really it's a timeline. But there's a caveat here. You have to be in preparation mode in order to make the timeline or the thinking axis. And how do we do that? Down at the bottom in the hamburger menu, you'll see mode. There's teaching mode, preparation mode, and desktop mode. Teaching mode is when everything's prepared and you're ready to use it with students. Preparation mode is when you're actually making something and you're going to see the page here with margins that you won't see in teaching mode. But when you're using the thinking axis, first do it in preparation mode. So we're going to bring up the thinking axis, which is right here. And it says click to add new nodes. So we can add various nodes along here. We can type in them. I'll bring up a keyboard. You might be doing, what would you be doing? Let's say you're doing holidays and you're going to do the next holiday, might be Easter or whatever. And you can put those all in order along the timeline. And you can also add pictures. So let's look at an example of that. I am going back to teaching mode because I don't want to have those borders down the side. Okay, so let's go to the next page. And here's one that I started. So we've taken all the information about the explorers and we're putting them along the timeline, adding pictures and adding some of the information from all our details here. So hopefully you'll have fun with that, or your students might want to prepare something to use to teach the class themselves. And screenshots. Screenshots are kind of cool. I'm going to show you where they are. So we go up here and we go to this screenshot here, and you get different types of cameras. The whole screen, a rectangular part of the screen, or you can do a shape. So let's look at the shape. I'm going to change the page. And here I have two animals, and I'm going to put the head of one onto the other. So I'm going to use the shape tool, trace around. And here's the head up here, and I can move it down. You have a lot of fun with this, and now you can work for the National Enquirer. When we're finished with that, we can close that down. Anything on your screen, you can grab a screenshot. So if your students have been doing some work on the board, you might want to save that as a separate file. All right, we've dealt with that pretty much now. So that's looking at the tools here, and I hope you'll have a lot of fun with them. Go to www.revtouch.com and check out the downloads under support. Thank you. Have a good day.